In a quiet town nestled between rolling hills lived a young woman named Emma. On the surface, Emma seemed to have everything one could desire: a stable job, a cozy home, and friends who cared for her. Yet, beneath this facade, a storm brewed within her mind. Emma's days were often clouded by a profound sense of envy. She would scroll through social media, seeing pictures of others' achievements, travels, and seemingly perfect lives, feeling a sharp pang of jealousy. This envy began to creep into her thoughts, making her feel inadequate and unfulfilled with her own accomplishments. Guilt was another heavy chain she carried. Emma often regretted her actions and decisions, constantly replaying past mistakes in her head. These thoughts kept her awake at night, eating away at her self-esteem and filling her with a deep sense of remorse. Fear also had its grip on Emma. She was afraid of failure, of disappointing those around her, and of not being good enough. This fear paralyzed her, preventing her from taking risks and pursuing her dreams. Each day, she found herself stuck in a cycle of anxiety, doubting her abilities and questioning her worth. Pride, too, played a role in her turmoil. Despite her struggles, Emma found it difficult to seek help. She wanted to appear strong and capable, afraid that asking for support would make her seem weak. This pride isolated her, leaving her to battle her inner demons alone. As these emotions intertwined, Emma's mind became a battlefield. She felt trapped in her thoughts with no escape from the anxiety that plagued her. The weight of envy, guilt, fear, and pride pulled her down, making it hard for her to see any light at the end of the tunnel. Yet Emma's story was far from over. Little did she know, the change she so desperately needed would begin in the very place where her struggles originated. Emma's mind became a battlefield, and every day felt like an uphill struggle. She found it increasingly difficult to focus at work, her thoughts constantly drifting to the perceived successes of others and her own perceived failures. Each scroll through social media deepened her sense of inadequacy, and each night brought a new wave of guilt-ridden insomnia. Her relationships started to suffer. Friends noticed Emma's distant gaze during conversations and her frequent cancellations of plans. They tried to reach out, but her pride kept her from opening up. She wore a mask of strength, even though inside she felt like she was falling apart. At work, her performance began to decline. The fear of failure was so paralyzing that she avoided taking on new projects, sticking to tasks she was already familiar with to avoid the risk of making mistakes. Her boss started to notice, and Emma feared the looming possibility of losing her job, which only added to her anxiety. In her personal life, Emma withdrew further. Her home, once a sanctuary, now felt like a prison. The isolation fed her anxiety, creating a vicious cycle that seemed unbreakable. Nights were the hardest. Alone with her thoughts, the guilt of past mistakes replayed in her mind like a broken record. Regret gnawed at her, making it impossible to find peace. One evening, after another sleepless night, filled with tears and self-recrimination, Emma realized she couldn't go on like this. The weight of envy, guilt, fear, and pride was too much to bear alone. She knew she needed to make a change, but the path forward seemed unclear and daunting. Emma's heart was heavy, but within that heaviness, a small, faint glimmer of hope began to emerge. She didn't know it yet, but this was the beginning of her journey toward healing and transformation. The change she so desperately needed would soon begin to take root in the very place where her struggles originated, her mind. That faint glimmer of hope carried Emma through the next few days, giving her just enough strength to keep going. However, her struggles were far from over. One Friday afternoon, Emma faced a crisis that would bring her to her breaking point. At work, she made a critical error on a major project. The mistake was caught just in time, but it caused a significant setback for the team. Her boss called her into his office, expressing disappointment and concern over her recent performance. The conversation was a blur of harsh words and reprimands, leaving Emma feeling more worthless than ever. She barely held back tears as she left the office, her heart pounding with fear and shame. The drive home was a blur. As soon as she stepped into her house, the tears she had been holding back all day finally burst forth. Emma collapsed onto her couch, her body shaking with sobs. She felt completely and utterly defeated. The weight of envy, guilt, fear, and pride crushed her, making it hard to breathe. That night, in the silence of her living room, Emma hit rock bottom. The isolation, the anxiety, the relentless self-doubt, it all came crashing down on her. She couldn't go on like this. In her darkest moment, Emma cried out for help, pleading for some form of relief, some sign that things could get better. As she sat there, something unexpected happened. A memory from her childhood surfaced. Her grandmother's voice, reading passages from the Bible during times of trouble. Emma remembered the comfort those words had brought her back then. Desperate for solace, she reached for the dusty Bible on her bookshelf. With trembling hands, she opened it and began to read. The verses spoke to her heart, offering a sense of peace and understanding she hadn't felt in a long time. For the first time in months, Emma felt a flicker of hope that maybe, just maybe, she could find a way out of this darkness. As Emma read through the verses, a calmness began to wash over her. Words of comfort and strength resonated deeply within her soul. It felt as though these ancient texts were speaking directly to her, addressing her pain and offering a path forward. The next day, she decided to attend a local church service, something she hadn't done in years. Walking through the doors, Emma felt a mixture of apprehension and hope. The congregation was welcoming, and the atmosphere was warm and inviting. As the service began, the pastor spoke about overcoming life's challenges through faith and the power of a positive mindset. Emma listened intently, absorbing every word. The message was clear. Change begins within the mind, and with faith, it is possible to overcome even the darkest of times. The pastor's words echoed the verses she had read the previous night, reinforcing the idea that she was not alone in her struggles. After the service, Emma approached the pastor and shared a bit of her story. He listened with compassion and offered to pray with her. In that moment, surrounded by the support and love of the church community, Emma felt a spark of hope ignite within her. She realized that seeking help wasn't a sign of weakness, but a step towards healing. Over the next few weeks, Emma continued to attend church and began to immerse herself in the Word of God. She joined a small group that focused on personal growth and mental well-being. Through these meetings, she met others who had faced similar struggles and found solace in their shared experiences. As Emma's faith grew stronger, so did her resolve to overcome her negative emotions. She started to recognize the triggers of her envy, guilt, fear, and pride, and began to address them with newfound clarity and strength. Prayer and meditation became part of her daily routine, providing her with a sense of peace and grounding. Slowly but surely, Emma began to see changes in her life. Her anxiety lessened, and she felt more confident in her abilities. She started to reconnect with friends, opening up about her journey, and finding support in their understanding and encouragement. At work, she approached challenges with a positive mindset, no longer paralyzed by the fear of failure. Emma's transformation was not immediate or easy, but each day brought her closer to a place of mental and emotional stability. She learned to forgive herself for past mistakes and to embrace the present with hope and gratitude. The change she had longed for had begun to take root in her mind, fueled by faith and the support of her community. Emma's journey of transformation continued, and she began to notice the profound changes taking place within her. Each morning, she started her day with prayer and reflection, setting a positive tone that carried her through even the most challenging situations. The scriptures she read provided her with wisdom and guidance, helping her navigate the complexities of her emotions. At work, Emma's renewed confidence and positive attitude did not go unnoticed. She took on new projects with enthusiasm and a willingness to learn. Her colleagues saw the change in her demeanor and were inspired by her resilience. Her boss, who had once expressed concern over her performance, now praised her for her improvement and dedication. Emma also reconnected with her friends on a deeper level. She shared her experiences and struggles openly, and in doing so, she found that many of them had faced similar challenges. This mutual understanding and support strengthened their bonds, creating a network of encouragement and love. One day, while attending her small group meeting, Emma shared a particularly significant breakthrough. She had been working on a challenging project at work, one that she would have previously avoided out of fear. Instead of succumbing to anxiety, she approached it with a calm and focused mind, drawing on her faith and the support of her peers. The project was a success, and Emma felt a sense of accomplishment and pride that she hadn't experienced in a long time. Her small group celebrated this victory with her, acknowledging the hard work and inner growth that had led to this moment. They reminded her of the importance of self-compassion and the value of celebrating even the small victories along the way. As Emma continued to grow, she found herself drawn to helping others who were struggling with similar issues. She volunteered to mentor new members of her small group, offering them the same support and guidance she had received. Her story of overcoming envy, guilt, fear, and pride through faith became a source of inspiration for many. Through her faith, Emma discovered a sense of purpose that extended beyond her personal healing. She realized that by sharing her journey and supporting others, she could make a positive impact on her community. This newfound purpose gave her life a deeper meaning and reinforced her belief that true change begins in the mind and is nurtured by faith and love. Emma's transformation was a testament to the power of a positive mindset and the strength that comes from faith. She learned that while the journey was filled with challenges, the rewards were immeasurable. Emma's story became a beacon of hope for those around her, illustrating that no matter how dark the path may seem, with faith and perseverance, it is possible to overcome any obstacle. Emma's newfound purpose filled her with a sense of joy and fulfillment she had never known. She continued to grow stronger in her faith, using it as a foundation to build a life of positivity and resilience. Each challenge she faced became an opportunity to apply the lessons she had learned, and with each victory, her confidence grew. One morning, as she reflected on her journey, Emma realized how far she had come. The envy that once consumed her had been replaced with gratitude. She no longer measured her worth against others, but instead focused on her own growth and achievements. The guilt that had kept her awake at night was now a distant memory, replaced by a sense of forgiveness and acceptance. Fear, which had once paralyzed her, was now a motivator. She understood that taking risks and facing challenges head-on were necessary steps toward achieving her goals. Her pride had transformed into a healthy self-respect, allowing her to seek help and offer it to others without hesitation. Emma's life was not without difficulties, but she faced them with a new perspective. She continued to volunteer at her church, sharing her story and encouraging others to find strength in their faith. She led workshops on managing anxiety and overcoming negative emotions, drawing from her own experiences to help others navigate their struggles. One day, after a particularly moving session, a young woman approached Emma, tears in her eyes. She thanked Emma for her words, explaining how they had given her the courage to confront her own fears and seek help. Emma felt a deep sense of fulfillment, knowing that her journey had made a real difference in someone else's life. As Emma looked around at the faces of those she had touched, she felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. She had turned her pain into purpose, her struggles into strengths, and her faith into a guiding light for herself and others. Her mind, once a battlefield, was now a place of peace and clarity. Emma knew that she would continue to face challenges, but she also knew that she had the tools and the support to overcome them. With each passing day, she became more certain that the change she had experienced was just the beginning of a lifelong journey of growth and faith. Emma's story was a powerful reminder that no matter how dark and overwhelming life may seem, there is always hope. By changing her mindset and embracing her faith, she had transformed her life and inspired others to do the same. Her journey was a testament to the incredible power of the mind and the enduring strength of the human spirit.
To stay updated with all the channel's content and not miss any videos, subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, like, share with your friends, and comment below what you learned from the previous lesson in the video. May God be with you all, and see you next time. Bye.